Thanks. Good morning, everyone. Anita, only the President of the United States could make me late for your event. Told him I had to run because Nita Lowe is being honored. It's really an honor and a privilege to be here to represent Congress's Dutch Caucus at this event and to be part of the Holland on the Hill program. I want to thank Ambassador Hospitals and his lovely wife for hosting an incredible dinner last night. I am proud to represent a vibrant group in Congress that advocates for strong, robust relationship between the U.S. and Netherlands and embraces our nation's shared values. And I appreciate the kind words, Congress. If you leave with nothing else as you leave here thinking about Congress, it's not as terrible as it appears. It's especially meaningful for me to be here today to remember the legacy of Anne Frank and to honor the legacy of my dear friend Nita Lowe. Anne Frank said, and I quote, I'm sure not for the first or last time this morning, "Human greatness does not lie in wealth or power, but in character and goodness." And I cannot imagine a more fitting message that embodies Congresswoman Lowe's spirit and conviction. It is her character and goodness that we are all so grateful for. Over the years, scholars and students, members of Congress, so many others have held on to insights from Anne Frank, from the diary that lived on after her death at Bergen-Belsen, just 2 weeks before the camp's liberation. We learned from her optimism in the face of unimaginable circumstances, division, hatred, war, and terror, and we learned from her capacity to see beauty and dignity in others, even while hiding from those who wished her harm because of who she was and what she believed. We learned from her hope for the future and her wishes for mankind. And it's fitting that the Anne Frank Award, an award given to individuals who represent an example of human dignity and tolerance and capture the essence of those lessons, be presented to Congressman Lowe. Before speaking just for a moment about Congressman Lowe, I want to acknowledge the Violence for Hope, the recipient of the 2020 Anne Frank Special Recognition Award, for their incredible work refurbishing and putting concerts on with violins, violas, and cellos collected since the end of World War II. I greatly enjoyed last night's performance, which I see you'll be able to enjoy here as well, and I encourage everyone to take a moment to enjoy the 6 violins that are on display here, and I congratulate Mr. Amnon Weinstein and his family for the incredible work they do. Congresswoman Lowe embodies the values of optimism in the face of uncertainty and human decency in the face of conflict from the moment she arrived in Congress, at a time when women made up less than 7% of the House of Representatives. Representative Granger, less than 7%. Nita Lowe has been a trailblazer and an advocate. She spoke out strongly for women's rights and human rights, for Jewish self-determination in the land of Israel, and memorably saved Bert and Ernie's jobs through her advocacy for the public broadcasting service. She became the first woman to chair the House Appropriations Committee and to chair the DCCC, and whatever hostility and opposition she faced, she continued always to push for what she believed in and improve the lives of people around the world through that effort. The Anne Frank Award began with the planting of a tree, a sapling from the chestnut tree that stood beside Anne Frank's hiding place as Nazis hunted for her and her family. That tree continues to grow here on the U.S. Capitol grounds. And over her 30-plus years in the U.S. Congress, Nita Lowe planted many seeds. Her legacy continues to grow. Her commitment to human rights continues to grow through the House Bipartisan Task Force for Combating Anti-Semitism, which I served on with Representative Lowe and I'm now proud to co-chair. Her dedication to peace building continues to grow in the legislation that bears her name and funds critical people-to-people programs between Israelis and Palestinians. Her advocacy for women continues to grow in every dollar Congress appropriates for breast and cervical cancer research, domestic violence awareness programs, and child support programs, funding she fought so hard to protect. And with all of that, it is my honor to help recognize my dear friend Nita Lowe, the recipient of the 2020 Anne Frank Award for Human Dignity and Tolerance. L'adore vador, Congresswoman Lowe. May your work continue to inspire the next generation of leaders. Thank you so much.